We are back with Toulouse for part 2 of what was initially a 5-season challenge, which I guess is now a 10-season challenge, where we are trying to topple the mighty PSG. If you did not watch part 1, go back, watch part 1, and you will see how close we managed to get in season 5, which is where we finished in 3rd place. Season 6 begins, and we've got some transfer business to do. Well, not quite yet, because we are still on the 10th of June, but we do have £10 million to spend. We have a squad, quite a big squad, some somewhat expensive players as well that maybe we can look to shift on to try and increase that transfer budget, because I think that is one of the things that's kind of letting us down at the moment in our battle to topple PSG, is we just don't have the financial clout that some of the other teams around us do. And I was thinking, in between playing seasons 5 and 6, that maybe season 5 we weren't as good as I thought we were, and PSG were just really bad. Maybe that's something. Obviously, we have got better. We have definitely got better. So season 6, I'm not expecting to be winning the league in season 6, but if we can finish in the top 4 once again, that will be great. Also, we have ourselves a Champions League run to worry about next season. So let's jump forward to the end of the transfer window. Some business will be done, some matches will be played, and hopefully we've started off the season okay. Before we talk about how we've kicked off the season, let's talk about transfers. Initially, Nathan Skeiter has left the club. He's signed for FC Köln over in Germany for £1.3 million. We just weren't really playing him. He spent lots of seasons out on loan in the last few years. Warren Kamandani has also left the club. He has gone to Westerlo for up to £1.5 million. Due to the ridiculously good performance from Diego last season, I've decided to cash in on Neil Mapai. He has left and he has gone to Köln for £2.7 million. For £4.1 million, we have sold Iheb Miletti. He's actually gone for 2.8, potentially rising to £4.1 million. He's gone to Anderlecht, a young player, which I think came through our youth intakes. I'm not convinced he's going to be amazing. To get that money is pretty good. And also, he doesn't really fit the system. He kind of fits there as an attacking midfielder, but I don't think he's ever going to basically break into that position unless he gets really good. But the big one we have sold is Lucien Agume for £8 million to Al Raed in, I'm going to say, Saudi Arabia. He did play a few times for us, but not anywhere near as much as we were expecting over the last couple of seasons. We've doubled our money, which is pretty good. Joining the club is Carlos Alcaraz, for £250,000 from Southampton. I don't know why he was so cheap. He always seems to be really cheap for some reason, so we brought him in. I'm not expecting much from him. He'll be a bench player. And because Diego was so good last season, we've decided to replace him with Helmut Morgenstern, a Czech striker formerly of Slavia Prague, cost £7.25 million, 19 years of age, with 18 finishing, 16 decisions, which is pretty good, composure of 13 as well, which is not amazing, but it's also still pretty good. Physically, looks amazing as well. Media description of a Wonderkid. We've just replaced a Wonderkid with a better Wonderkid. And that's actually really been our transfer business in the summer. We've not done a lot of business. We've also got rid of a few players on loan deals. Onguene has gone to Catanzaro. We've got Ngoma to Nancy. We've got a man called Mahmoud Al Hassan to Paris FC. He said PSG then. Josh Feeney to Blackpool. Kumbasa and Ben Barrett have gone to Nîmes. And John Camden has gone to Pau. I've just realised Al Hassan's actually the Syrian striker that we paid a lot of money for. So yeah, hopefully he'll get some game time there. The season for us has started off pretty well. It's not started off amazingly. Drawing with Monaco and losing against Auxerre is not ideal, but we did beat Troyes, we beat Lorient, and we beat Marseille, and we haven't conceded any goals in the games where we have won, which is pretty good. Looking at the formation, this is what we are locking in. I'm not convinced we need to lock all these players in just in case we're going to do it, though, because I'm worried that players like Bellingham, they might go, actually, we've got somebody better, because I think Bertie might be better than Bellingham as an attacking midfielder, but I want Bellingham there because I think Bertie plays quite well as a defensive midfielder. So Bordas, Bellingham, Collard and Morgenstern will be our 4 players that we're locking in. We're sticking with the 4-2-3-1 Black Panther formation, which, if you didn't know, is in the description below. We're now going to jump forward to the end of the season, where obviously we want to do well in Ligue 1. We're currently 4th. We want to do all right in the Champions League, and it'll be nice to have a cup run. Maybe get to the quarterfinals, semi-finals. That'll be pretty good as well. Well, would you look at that? We have finished 2nd place in Ligue 1. Champions PSG once again, but we are comfortably 2nd place as well. 11 points clear of 3rd place. Lens, what is that? 11 points behind 1st place PSG. So we've basically solidified ourselves right bang smack in 2nd place. Monaco, who won the league last season, have dropped off drastically. We, in the Champions League, got through the group stage and then got knocked out in the playoff round against Porto. and we lose in the quarterfinal of the Cup against Troyes. So we did all right when it comes to competitions. I would have liked to have got further in the French Cup. I would have liked to got a bit further in the Champions League as well. But the big news, we've finished second in the table. Winning Ligue 1 within the next 4 seasons might genuinely be possible. So, taking a look at the squad then, we have got 5 players who have broken into double figures when it comes to scoring goals. Tommaso Berti has scored 52 goals and 152 league appearances for us. He's very good. I think I said in Season 2, whenever it was we signed him, that could be the best £2 million that we've ever spent. I think I was right. I genuinely think I was right. He's technically a club legend as well. Not an icon or a favoured personnel. He is a club legend. If we built a new stadium, it could be called the Tommaso Berti Stadium. He is that important to our last 5 seasons. Abdou Klal also breaking double figures, considering he only started 8 games, 25 off the bench, scoring 10 league goals, 12 in all competitions, getting a couple of Champions League ones in there as well. I think we might be seeing the last of Zachariah here, because I'm thinking we're going to be able to replace him come the end of the season, and I'm pretty sure he's not. He's kind of on the decline, and if we can get 10 million from him, that's still good money. Bellingham playing as that attacking midfielder as well, getting 13 in all competitions, but only 8 in the league. Quite a few, 3 in the French Cup, 2 in the Champions League as well, but he's still pretty good. Only 23 still. Andy Collard managed to pick up 16 in all competitions, 11 of them in Ligue 1. But the big news for Collard is he's out for 6 to 8 months with damaged cruciate ligaments. When did he do that? I imagine that's fairly recent. Literally the last game of the season, or the game before. He made... Oh, that's frustrating, because he's going to miss, obviously, a lot of our Season 7. And obviously, when you look at how good he is, that's a big problem. 6 to 8 months without Collard. Maybe we need to look at bringing in a new left winger, possibly on loan maybe in the summer, because this is going to be a big miss. But the top goal scorer is new signing Helmut Morgenstern with 12 goals in the league, 17 in all competitions as well. He's just very good. He's on very little money. Feel like he might want a new contract soon. Sorting by assists as well. So we've got Berti with 15 assists, 13 for Palestri. Similarly to Zachariah, I'm not convinced Palestri's kind of got a massive future with us. I'm going to keep him around for a while. We're still only 27. We've got 12 assists as well for Bordas, obviously formerly of Angers, 20 years of age, worth 85 to 115 million pounds. We are going to have a very tough job on our hands. If we sort by age, Collard, very good. Morgenstern, very good. Bordas, Carvalho, all 4 of those are key first-team players. You can see they are key first-team players. Flores as well at 21, played 34 times for our first team. Bellingham at 23 as well, playing 37. Restes at 24, playing 48. Berti at 25, playing 46. We've got a very young team, and I'm concerned that some of these players here, whilst they're not wanted at the moment... I mean, he wants a new contract. Okay, Bordas, what do you want? You want to move to a stronger squad. You want to move to a stronger squad. I feel like that is going to be something that's going to be happening quite a lot with those young players. They're going to want to leave and basically try and join PSG, because that's pretty much their only options. Right, that's going to do it for Season 1, or Season 6, shall we say. Let's jump in to Season 7, see how we get on. So we've got about £12 million to spend, but we are over our wage budget. So maybe we need to look at selling some players in the summer. I think Zachariah might be on that list, you know. I think we genuinely might be getting rid of Zachariah, which is fine. He's done his job. We are going to obviously look to invest in youngsters, because even in Season 10, I guarantee you I will be signing youngsters, because I cannot help myself when I play Football Manager. I have to sign really good Wonderkids. And now on the 2nd of September, our transfer budget has declined to just £423,000, which means we have brought ourselves some brand new players, and obviously we've probably sold some people as well. So let's take a look to see what business we have done. 34-year-old Bernardo has left the club on a free transfer. He is signed for CUI in his native Brazil. I don't know who they are, but he's 34. Jerome Onguene has also left the club. He has gone to St. Pauli for £180,000. Not a lot of money, but we never played him. We've doubled our money on Charlie Alcaraz. He has left. He signed for Racing Club in his native Argentina for about £450,000, something like that. And we've also moved on Josh Feeney to Mallorca for just under £1 million. I wasn't convinced this was the best use of money, because obviously we paid a fair amount of money for him. We have lost money, but he's just not good enough to play for us anymore. Joining the club is Alan Chapchep. He's come back, guys. I don't know why, but my brain tells me that he's going to be a late bloomer, okay? My brain tells me he's going to be a late bloomer. He's returned to the club on a free transfer. Obviously, I'm determined to justify this £3.5 million for a start. We sold him to Westerlo. He then went out on loan to Reggiana in Italy. We've brought him back on a free transfer. He's not going to play a lot, but he's not bad. He's also French. For £400,000, we have signed South African central midfielder Midudzi Ngwenya from Stellenbosch FC. I think this is a very good bit of money to spend. For 19 years of age, 11 caps already. He's probably good enough to play for our first team. I am going to have to retrain him. I'm not quite sure whether he's going to be a defensive midfielder, an attacking midfielder, or even an inside forward. For £1.9 million, we have gone over to Chile and signed Ethan Francia. 19 years of age, 2 caps as well to his name. Left back or left winger? I will let you decide what position that you should be playing him in. I'll tell you now, I don't know, and I think I'm leaning towards more left winger, but I think he wants to be a left back. I'm pretty sure when I offered him a contract, he said he wants to be a left back, and I went, no, it's not happening, because I think you're more of a left winger. But anyway, Francia is in, and he's already worth potentially £27 million. Another youngster to join from South America is Miguel Villa, 18 years of age, Colombian defensive midfielder, signed from Junior for about £5.25 million, which is a bit on the steep side, but he is only 18 years of age, and he's on the verge of the Colombian national side, and he looks pretty good. I might try and loan this guy out, because I don't think he's good enough to play for us right away, but if we can get him a season or two under his belt, playing in the sort of mid-table Ligue 1, that'll be really helpful for him. And finally, for £5 million, we have signed Darko Mirasavic from Liverpool. They signed him 3 seasons ago, wait for it, for £30.5 million and played him a total of 7 times in the league. We've then brought him for £5 million, and now he's getting some game time as a left-back as well. I think he's very good. He's obviously come in as the replacement for Bernardo. I bought this man and Francia at the same time, and I'm there going, I think Mirasavic is better than Francia, but in the future, Francia might become a better player than Mirasavic. Also, Mirasavic is 6'1". I might kind of push him to be more of a centre-back if we need to. He's still only 22, got plenty of time. We can retrain him. That is an option. And that is all the transfer business that we have done. If we take a very quick look, there are some loan deals as well. Big one, Hugo Ruiz going to Antwerp for £2.4 million on loan, which is good. Ted Kurd, he is still here. He's gone to Chalet on loan for the season. Diego going on loan to Cannes for just £12,500. That is a cracking player to be playing in Ligue 2. So how has the season begun? We've only played 4 games, technically 5, which we'll get to in a minute. We have drawn 1, we've lost 1, but we have won twice against Auxerre and Guillaume. We've drawn with Angers, and we have lost against PSG, which is no surprise to anybody. That's what we need to try and turn around. We need to try and stop losing to PSG. Speaking of losing to PSG, we lost 4-2 to PSG in the Trophée de Champion, which was apparently won by Rennes. Fair enough. Did they beat PSG? Good job. Well done, you. I also love the concept of this competition because it's played from basically 2009. It's been played in every country other than France. We've got Canada, Tunisia, Morocco, USA. We've got Gabon, China, Canada once again, Austria, Morocco, China twice, France, Israel twice, Saudi Arabia, USA, Cameroon, Algeria, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, and the last one in Belgium for some reason. I mean, that's not as exotic, is it? You've gone Cameroon, Algeria, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, Belgium. I mean, you could have just gone like Ghana, I don't know, maybe stick in Africa, that'd be fun. Anyway, we're obviously in the Champions League as well, which I'm hoping to do just as well as we did last season. French Cup, once again, they want us to reach the quarterfinals. I'm hoping to do kind of one better. Get to the semis would be lovely. Season preview, we're expected to finish 4th. I don't think I showed you this for Season 6. The season preview for Season 6, they expected us to finish, I think, about 8th place, which obviously we smashed out of the water, finishing 2nd. Let's jump forward then to the end of Season 7. We have finished 2nd once again. But a much, much bigger gap. In fact, a massive gap. 23-point gap between us and PSG. And only a 4-point gap between us and 3rd place Monaco. Champions League-wise, get knocked out in the playoff round again, this time by Brighton. Fair play to Brighton. And then getting knocked out in the 11th round by Grenoble. Is that just before the quarterfinals? It is just before the quarterfinals. So that's not too bad, although they are a League 2 side. A couple of bits of transfer business did take place as well during January. We sold Sergio Akime, our 32-year-old Equatorial Guinean left-back, for, I'm not even sure, £400,000? £725,000. He just wasn't going to get any more game time. And we also loaned out Nguenya to Norwich in the Championship. He seems to be kind of coming off the bench a lot, which is not ideal. I wanted him to go there to get some game time, which he did to a point. I would have liked him to get a bit more. So, as always, looking at the squad then, in terms of players scoring double figures, we've got Mahmoud Al-Hassan, obviously went on loan last season, returned this season, getting a lot of game time. I imagine he played on that left. Looks like he did seem to play a fair amount on that left-hand side. Obviously, Collard was injured at the start of the season. He still managed to get 10 goals, though. When he returned, he got 10 goals, which is good. Helmut Morgenstern also getting 13 goals. Did not play much. Did he get a bad injury? I feel like he must. He damaged his cruciate ligaments as well. So he's literally only just come back. Oh, that's okay. So that would explain why we've got Palestri up there with 17 goals. Has he been playing up front? Palestri's been playing on the right-hand side, but he's got 17 goals and 15 assists. Bertie also 17 goals and 15 assists as well. And then we've got Joe Bellingham, who I feel like you've been playing up front. You have been playing up front. Okay, so that's what's happened. Bellingham's been pushed to be that striker because of the injury to Morgenstern, missing Collard as well for half the season. We've had a bit of a hammering. I don't think I mentioned this as well at the start of the season, but these were the three players that we locked in. So it is Miguel Villa, we locked in Victor Flores, and Darko Mirasavic playing basically as many games as possible. I wanted Villa to play a lot because I thought, you know what? There's something there. He's only 19. Getting him game time right now is going to be very good. Mirasavic, we know, very good. He's also damaged his cruciate ligaments. What's going on? Don't tell me you've done your cruciate ligaments as well. How many people have damaged their cruciate ligaments? That's 4 in the space of 12 months. Anyway, Victor Flores hasn't damaged his cruciate ligaments, and he's also played a lot of football for us. I'm now worried that we don't have any physios. So, we've got Morganson, Collard, Mirasavic, Bordas, all missing 3 months at least. Everyone else is kind of smaller injuries. Still 7 weeks, though, for Zakaria. Al-Hassan also 7 weeks. We had a lot of injuries. A huge amount of injuries. Even some players down here, though, missed literally no matches. Did Alan Chapchet play any games? He did. He actually played 1 game. Fair enough. So then, a few days later, and we were ready for the start of Season 8. Financially, we've got £7.7 million to spend, and I'm hoping that we can invest that in some sensible players. We have done a massive expenditure this month. £47 million. What did we possibly buy? It was the stadium. We bought the stadium because it wasn't ours, because I want to expand it, because we are selling out week in, week out, and I want to make it bigger, and I couldn't do that without actually, owning the thing. So we now own the thing. Problem is, I keep asking the board to expand it, and they don't want to. They don't think it's a good idea to expand. So maybe we might ask them to build a new one after wasting nearly £50 million on buying the thing. So last season we obviously finished second place in the table. We're going to jump forward to the end of the transfer window in Season 8. And hopefully we've managed to do some decent investment, and hopefully we've managed to start the season off well, and hopefully we can still be in a fight with PSG. The last thing I want to happen right now was us to fall off and start dropping down to like 5th and 6th. We need to stay in that top 4 at least. So far, after 5 games, the season started kind of alright. 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat to our name. So 3 wins, a 7-0 win against Brest, 1-0 against Troyes, and a 2-1 win against PSG. That is massive. That is absolutely gargantuan, that result, because we never beat PSG. PSG lose maybe 3 or 4 games a season. They've already lost 1. We've drawn with Lyon as well, and we have lost against Lille, which that's not ideal because their team's kind of in and around us. But hopefully that win against PSG might propel us on to do really well in the rest of this season. Champions League, obviously, I just want to get out of the group stages. That's all I want. And French Cup, I'd love to win it. Genuinely would love to win it. Don't think it's going to happen. So transfer business-wise has been an interesting one. And I say that because we have sold one of our players who's been here since Season 1 for a stupid amount of money. Nicola Moro is not that man. He has gone for £2 million to Catanzaro. Zakaria has left the club, signing for AZ Alkmaar for about £2.7 million, if I'm not mistaken. 2.9 potentially. For potentially £15.25 million, Finley Burns has moved over to Al Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. But the next one is big and might be an issue. We've sold Restes. We've sold Restes to Real Madrid for 63, potentially rising to 79 million pounds. The first few seasons that Restes was here in this simulation, he was not very good. He conceded lots and lots of goals. The last few seasons, in fact, the last 3 seasons, maybe even just that one there, actually, he was really good. He had a really good season, but we've decided to move him on, and it could be a massive mistake. We have brought in a whole bunch of new players as well, though. Tommy Easund has joined for £2.3 million. He has come over from AIK in Sweden, 22 years of age, 2 caps as well. Looks actually very good. For £4.1 million, we've signed South Korean midfielder Hyo Min Sung from Ulsan. I'm hoping this is kind of one for the future, but also, I might make him be that attacking midfielder. I think we can play him there, and he'll be very good. And he's only 20. We've also brought in Birkenabe right back with 8 caps to his name, Nicky Emma from FC Volendam in Holland, and loaned him straight back out because he's kind of one for the future, but he is considered a Wonderkid already. For £135,000, we have signed Juanpa, a player who we signed a very long time ago, and then he left and went to Rennes. We've brought him back because we kind of need some backup goalkeepers now, don't we? Juanpa is going to be one of them. We actually dipped into the loan market as well. Abdulaziz Nasrallah, who is a Dutch defensive midfielder. He's coming on loan from AC Milan until the end of the season. There is an option to buy him on a permanent deal. I don't think he's going to play a lot. I've not brought him in to play him. I've brought him in because basically we've got too many people who count as foreign players. And that's because we bought Clint Callis, who is an English defender, an only English defender from Chelsea. He has cost a whopping £17 million, but he is obviously very good in my opinion and only 20 years of age. Plenty of time to develop as well. So Callis is in, and it does mean that, like I said, we've got too many foreign players, English being one of them. Japan is another one, because our new number 1 goalkeeper is Japanese international Zion Suzuki, signed from Roma for £9 million. They bought him for 1.2. I wish we bought him the season before, because £9 million is arguably a little bit steep. But we have brought in Zion Suzuki. He's going to be our number 1 goalkeeper, hopefully till the end of the season. And then, if he's good, I say the end of the season, hopefully to the end of the save, let's be honest. He's only 28, he's in the prime of his life. He's not as good as Restes. This is my worry. He's already let in 6 in 5 starts. We're going to keep an eye on Suzuki, because maybe we might look to find ourselves a decent regen goalkeeper, and Suzuki may well have just been £9 million wasted. So that is all of the transfer business that we have done. If we sort here very quickly by fee, there are a lot of other people leaving, like Lejeune at Pages, Ted Kurd has left. We've got rid of anyone else. Bella Kotchap's gone on a free transfer. Franchia going out on loan. A lot of players going out on loan. Bellingham going out on loan. Ruiz going out on loan. Sassy going out on loan. Who else is kind of half decent? Not quite sure. I don't think anyone else really there is half decent. But Franchia going out on loan because he's non-European means that we need to get him out on loan because he's not going to get any game time. Bellingham, actually, I think he's part Irish. He is part Irish, so he doesn't count as foreign because Ireland is part of the EU. But I don't want Bellingham anymore. He's transfer listed for a reason, and I'm hoping he makes that move to Anderlecht permanent. So looking at the season preview, our recent performances in the league over the last couple of years has pushed us up into 3rd place. We were expected to finish 3rd place in the table, which is very, very good. If we actually look at the Dream 11, we have 2 players. Marcio Carvalho, who, by the way, is a centre-back for us, not a right-back, is one of those players. And we've also got Andy Collard as well, who wants Collard. Everyone, lots of teams want Collard. He's not going anywhere, don't worry about it. Right, we're going to jump forward then to the end of Season 8, see how well we've done. If we finish 2nd again, that'll be magical. It's 3rd. It's 3rd place. We have dropped down. However, there is a massive caveat to this. If you look, we are closing the gap. 13 points between us and PSG now, which I think is still, it's not closed as close as we'd like, is it? I'd like it to be closed by a lot more. Now, this doesn't happen too often, but we did come back from holiday in January because things weren't going particularly to plan, and we have done some transfer business. 3 players in total have joined. First one being Sebastian Chan, an English right back. He's joined on a free transfer. We're probably going to loan him out. I think he's just got some potential. I've got no real expectations for this guy other than to get better, and then we'll probably sell him. Similarly is Hugo Brito, although he is a lot younger. He's coming on a free transfer from Porto. He's out of contract at the end of the season, so he's cost a bit of money technically. It's like £30,000, but he would have essentially been free. Somebody who wasn't free is our new number 1 goalkeeper. He's cost £35.5 million. Jose Cardozo is a 23-year-old Portuguese goalkeeper who is a lot better than Zion Suzuki. Suzuki didn't work out, okay? Just comparing attributes, Cardozo is in the green, Suzuki is in the blue. Mentally, Cardozo looks a lot better where it counts. Suzuki's got great flair and leadership, which doesn't really help when you're a goalkeeper. Cardozo has some pretty good numbers as well when it comes to his attributes. Sorry on Suzuki, first touch and eccentricity is really high. It's not really necessary. Cardozo's eccentricity is 1. So, I think this is a massive upgrade. However, from the statistics, they played actually a very similar amount of football, conceded a similar amount of goals. In fact, I'd say Cardozo's goals conceded is slightly worse than Suzuki's, but Cardozo did also get some clean sheets, 8 in total. Suzuki only got 6, and Cardozo also got a Man of the Match award as well. But all of that did mean that we did finish 3rd place in the table. I'm hoping next year Cardozo is going to have his feet under the table. He's going to be a much better goalkeeper as that number 1 goalkeeper as well. In the Champions League, we got to the round of 16, so 1 stage further than the year before, and the year before that as well. And the French Cup, we get knocked out by PSG. Did we lose to PSG again? We never lost to PSG. We beat them twice. PSG lost twice to us. And that's the only defeats all season, was against us. Okay, so looking at the squad then, goals-wise, Iceland managed to get 11 goals, which is actually very good. Seemed to play a lot of games off the bench. Flores, from the DM position, getting 12, 15 for Bertie. Morganson gets 22. Collard up there with 25 goals. We are getting lots and lots of goals as well. I didn't say this either. I need to remember to do this. When it comes to players being fixed in position, Flores and Hyo Min Sung were kind of fixed in position. I've said Cardozo as well, although didn't need to because Cardozo was clearly much better than Suzuki when he joined the club. When it comes to assists as well, Bertie up there, 16, 15 assists for Carvalho. Did you play as a right back? You were playing a lot as a right back. That's why you were getting loads of assists. Fair enough. Why were you playing as a right back? I mean, I guess Bordas was technically injured at the start of the season, wasn't he? Did he get another injury? So he did. Okay, he damaged his cruciate ligaments, then tore his knee ligaments. So he didn't really play much football until about sort of maybe January time. Collard gets 13 assists. Mirasevic gets 10 as well. Min Sung gets 9. We get 9 from Bordas. I love the fact that we're getting assists from all over the pitch as well, it's good. I love this. And Chapchet's chipped in with an assist. He's going to come good one day, guys. He's now 29. He's going to come good, I promise. So with 2 more seasons to go, we've got to make up some ground. Season 9 then, we have to finish 2nd place or higher. Obviously, 1st place will be magical. If we can finish 2nd place within a few points of PSG, I will certainly take that as a success as we then head into Season 10, where hopefully that is where we will topple PSG. So let's jump forward to the start of Season 9. So the start of Season 9 then, and we have a whopping £46 million to spend in our transfer budget, which I genuinely don't know what to do with that money, okay? I don't like spending huge amounts of money on players. Spending £35 million last season on Cardozo was essential. We needed to get ourselves a very good goalkeeper. We've got £46 million, and I genuinely have no idea where we need to spend that money. Before we have kicked a ball, we can hopefully see the season preview, which we can. We are now up into 2nd place in the league. We've got 3 people in the Media Dream 11, which is Collard, Bordas, and Carvalho. In fact, Costa's not ours. I thought Costa was ours. He's not. He's the PSG goalkeeper. We have also done some transfer business, and we brought in a man called Suman Roy, who is an Australian, signed from the CU Academy, which I want to say is Canberra? It is Canberra United Academy. He's come in on a free transfer. Yeah, he's probably going to go out on loan. He's also born in India, but for some reason isn't Indian. I don't understand. Or is that a rule to do with you can't be Indian and something else nationality? I'm not quite sure. Right, let's jump forward to the end of the summer transfer window. Let's see if we can spend this £46 million, and hopefully we can make ourselves a little bit of a stronger squad. It is £16 million lighter. We've not got rid of the whole thing. We can't spend £46 million. I just can't bring myself to do it, but we obviously have done some business. So let's talk about what we've done. We've sold some people for £7 million. Al Hassan has left signing for Freiburg. He wasn't really getting a huge amount of game time. He did play nearly 70 league games for us, but most of them were off the bench. £7 million is fine. And for £24 million, which is just extortionate, we've sold Jarrell Quansah over to Saudi Arabia. You can't turn down that kind of money. That money's just unacceptable, okay? Joining the club in order of expense. First of all, Marcus Grant, an American centre-back signed on a free transfer. Hong Chi-woo, a South Korean defender, joining for about £50,000. He's been brought in because the guy last season wanted a friend from South Korea, and I didn't really realise he was out on loan. So, yeah, we've signed this guy. I've got no intentions of ever playing him. Moving into the big money now for £8 million. Lorenzo Carbone has joined from Estudiantes in his native Argentina and then been loaned out to Nottingham Forest because he is not European, which means we can't register all of these people, which is frustrating, but getting some game time in the Championship at Forest will hopefully help his development. He's also a model citizen, which is lovely. For £12 million, we have signed Ewan Dubus from St Etienne, and he looks very, very good. We've got ourselves a French right winger, which is something that we never seem to do. We don't seem to buy too many French players. We've managed to get ourselves a French right winger who looks pretty good. For just under £15 million, Wilson is a Brazilian defence midfielder and maybe centre-back. I'm not sure what position we're going to play him in. I think probably defence midfielder is where we're going to go. Signed from Sporting, and he's good, isn't he? He's just a very good player. Only 21 as well, with 3 caps to his name in a Brazil squad, who is obviously going to be very, very good. So I'm happy with this signing. But the most expensive signing we've done is basically the Gerald Quansah replacement, and that is Efe Sarikaya, a Turkish international. He's cost up to £22 million. I think he's good. I think we've got ourselves a good player. Only 25 as well, which means at the start of this save, which is here, is he at Alte? So they signed him for £170,000 in this save, potentially. That's ridiculously good. That's a very good player for that amount of money. So we have spent £52 million, but we have also done some other transfer business. Zion Suzuki has gone out on loan to West Ham because basically we've got no plans on playing him. If he gets some game time at West Ham, lovely. Miguel Villa has also gone out on loan. He's gone to Spurs. We've got Sassy has gone to Ghent and Goma to Nancy. Sebastian Chant to Angers. Alan Chapchet has gone on loan to Union SG. Carbone we know to Forest. Wampa to Ostenda. Francia to Leeds. Anything else? Brito to Lieria. Anyone else? Ben Barrett to St Etienne and Diego to Nantes. So we've loaned out a lot of players, but I think it's a good idea to do. So we are obviously still sticking with the 4-2-3-1 Black Panther formation. Link in the description below. We are locking in just the one player for this season, and that is Hugo Ruiz. He spent a season out on loan at Atletico Madrid last year. Actually did quite well. Ruiz is going to be that inside forward on the right-hand side. I think he's good enough to do the job. And at 24 years of age, he needs to get some game time. And I think he's good enough. And so this season is going to hopefully prove a point. And he's hopefully going to turn himself into a very good, decent Spanish footballer. Maybe even get into the Spain squad. Might be a bit too much to ask. Now, when it comes to the start of the season, we are currently top of Ligue 1 because we have won every single league game. 3-2 against Nice, a 6-0 against Troyes, 4-1 against Lens, 5-2 against Marseille, and 4-1 against Lille. We have started off the season ridiculously well. So well, in fact, we are top of the table, just on goal difference, but we have the 2 top goal scorers, which is Bertie and Morganson on 7 and 6. Bertie and Collard both have the highest average ratings. Hugo Ruiz has 6 assists in 5 games in his debut season, actually playing for us, which is very, very good as well. So I'm happy with how things have started. We're going to jump now to the end of the season and see if we can carry this on. I don't think we're going to win the league, but the fact that we are definitely up there looks quite good. We are wanting to be competitive in the Champions League, which is fine. And quarter-final of the French Cup, I want to win it. I want to win the damn thing, okay? Thank you. We have won the French Cup. We have beaten PSG in the final, a 3-1 win in the final. We are champions of the French Cup, which is lovely. What happened in the game? So Morganson, Collard look like they get some goals. So does Wilson as that defensive midfielder. A late goal from Lorenzo Luca. We've beaten PSG and we've won a trophy. I think this is our first trophy with Toulouse and it's taken 9 seasons to get here. When it comes to the Champions League, it's not been as good of a story. We do get to the round of 16 but get knocked out by Man City, which we actually beat them 4-2 away from home and then lose 3-0 at home. So something seriously went wrong. But there is one obvious competition that we need to talk about, and that is Ligue 1, where we are champions. We are champions of France. We have won Ligue 1, and we've beaten PSG. With 1 season to spare. Technically, we've gone 4 seasons over. With 1 season to spare, what happened? So they lost against Marseille, Lorient, Toulouse, and Reims. We lost against PSG, Lyon, and Monaco. We won the same. Literally 1 draw. 1 draw was all the difference. That is ridiculous. So there was a goal that happened. I mean, was it that? Was it genuinely that? What happened to PSG in the last games of the season? What happened? So, I mean, admittedly, we were... Oh, they almost caught us. If we lost that game of the season, Wilson won us the league, technically. With that goal in the 84th minute, if that did not go in, we might not have won the league. We probably still would have because of goal difference. Anyway, we're champions of France. We are champions of France. And Wilson gets 12 goals in all competitions. He is our 5th top scorer in all competitions. Hugo Ruiz has had an absolutely outstanding season as that inside forward. 12 goals, 20 assists in the league. 20 assists is a record. And then we just jump up ridiculously with 27 goals, Tommaso Berti. Nearly 100 goals in all competitions for Toulouse. £2 million this man cost. For £2 million. 28 goals in all competitions and 12 assists for Andy Collard, who's now broken into the France national side as well. And he's the 2nd top scorer, which means Morgenstern scored a lot more than that. 25 league goals, 33 in all competitions, 6 assists as well. That's a lot of goals, isn't it? We've also got, when you look down here, Mirosevic gets 18 assists. We get 14 assists as well for Bordas. We get 13 assists from Nicky Emma, who I imagine played probably as a sub coming on for Bordas, because looks like Bordas probably came off the bench a fair amount. So 26 league games, which means Nicky Emma probably played 8 league games as well. So yeah, did get a fair amount of game time as well. We're champions. We're actually champions of France. We've got one more season to go. What do we do now on season 10? So we do have a bit of transfer budget to spend, £24 million. I imagine that might end up going higher as well. So maybe we look... I guess we just have to extend our advantage on PSG or win it again. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's try and win it for a second time. That's probably the target. So looking at our squad for Season 10, this is normally what I do to try and get a rough idea of where I think we can definitely improve. It seems to think defensive midfield, because Marcus Grant is our 2nd best defensive midfielder, which I don't necessarily agree with at all. Attacking midfielder, because Bertie's there at 2.5 star, and also a central defender. So maybe that's what we look at doing over the summer transfer window. Let's jump forward then to the end of that transfer window. Let's see if we've spent any money, which we probably have, to see how well we started our final season in charge of Toulouse. So our transfer budget has increased to nearly £80 million, and that's because over the summer, I've had a clear out because our squad was getting too big. I think I mentioned in season 8 or 9 that we had a lot of players who weren't European, who weren't able to play. So we've basically tried to sell some of those players, and some of those players have gone for stupid amounts of money. We're going to look at all the players who've sold for more than £1 million. Diego is the first one, £1.8 million going to Cadiz. He looks good, but he was just never going to get in the squad once Morgenstern turned up. So he had one really good season for us, actually still holds the record for most goals in a season, but he's moved on. Christian Mawissa has moved over to Braga. He's been here since the start of the save, I believe. And yeah, we just kind of never really played him. I think he played a lot when players got injured. Other than that, he's gone. For £4.2 million, Khaled Sassi has moved over to Standard Liège. Needs to get some more game time. Hopefully going over to Belgium will do that for him. But we're never going to see him develop anymore. For £7.5 million, we have sold Zion Suzuki to Al Tai in Saudi Arabia. We all know what happened with Suzuki. It didn't work out. For £11.5 million, Marcos Grant has moved to Saudi Arabia. It's silly money for a player who wasn't really good enough to play for us. Another man to move over to Saudi Arabia is Facundo Palestri for nearly £20 million. For £36.5 million, Everton have picked up Tommy Eisund, who we didn't really sign that long ago. A couple of seasons ago, played a lot of football, getting some decent goals, decent amounts of assists, but we didn't really need him, so he's gone. And finally, for £40 million, Hyo Min Sung has left. He's moved over to Porto, obviously in Portugal. We have times 10, multiplied our money by 10 with this sale of Hyo. He was very good, but he's not European, and we need players who are European. So, joining the club then, in order of expense, Imanol Alcalde is a 24-year-old Spanish right-back. My scout said he was really good, and I wasn't too sure. He's never going to play, okay? Bordas is our number 1 right-back. Then we've got Nicky Emma as our number 2. Alcalde is our number 3 right-back. He's cost £250,000. He's come from PSG. We've also brought in Alexis Jarry from Lazio, formerly of Valenciennes as well. French central midfielder, central defence midfielder, maybe a centre-back. I've actually brought him in to be a backup centre-back. He's cost literally £500,000. He is a regular starter. he's not going to be a regular starter. He will come off the bench a lot. For £1.8 million, we have Amir Lundmark, who is a Swedish defensive midfielder signed from IFK Norrköping. I think he might get a lot of game time. For £5.5 million, we brought ourselves another striker, which arguably we don't need. Dusan Pavlovic signed from Red Star over in his native Serbia. And for £13.5 million, Hossam Ramadan has signed from Al Ali in Egypt. 32 caps and 2 goals at the age of 21. He is going to be one of our first choice centre-backs. The problem with this guy, and I didn't realise this until I signed him, Egypt doesn't count as part of the African players that you're allowed to play in France. It's quite confusing. So if we just look at the rules here, it says all African, Caribbean and Pacific groups of states, nations. Not all African nations, which is what I thought it was. And then we look at this list here, and essentially it ignores North Africa as far as I can tell. So there is no Egypt. I don't think Morocco is on here. If we scroll down, so yeah, there's no Morocco on there. So it kind of ignores North Africa, which is a bit strange. So, yeah, Tunisia is also not on there. So, yeah, it's not all African nations, which is what I thought it was. So, yeah, we went through this kind of task of trying to get rid of our non-European players, and then we brought in somebody else who also counts as non-European, which is not ideal. But that is our transfer business so far, and the league has started off very, very well. 4 wins, 1 draw, 0 defeats. We drew with Reims. We have beaten Grenoble, Lyon, Rennes, and Le Havre, so nice and comfortable currently at the top of the table. We also did not win the Trophy of Champions because we never seem to want to win that one. Champions League, be competitive, reach the semi-final of the FA Cup, so hopefully we can get to the semi-final. I'd like to win it again. Obviously we won it last season, so hopefully we can do the same thing. So from a formation perspective, 2 players are getting locked in this season. Ruiz still as that right winger because he's technically not our best right winger. That is Collard. I think they often put Morgenstern up there as well now because Morgenstern isn't our best striker because Collard is our best striker. It's weird. All of our kind of front 4 players can all kind of interchange, which is actually quite nice. We're also locking in Francia, who's come back from his loan at Leeds. In fact, he came back last season, and we're going to lock him in to be that left back because I think as more of an attacking-minded left back, Francia is that man. Well, for one last time then, let's jump forward to the end of the season, see how well we have done in all 3 of the remaining competitions. I want to win the league again, and I want to win the French Cup again. That'll be good. And we have done the double once again. We have won the French Cup. We have won Ligue 1. So let's take a look at the league first. 2 defeats. Who was it against? PSG and Marseille. PSG lose it against Monaco and Marseille as well. So Marseille getting involved in the title scrap, but slightly too far away. Actually, slightly better this time around. We actually picked up more points, so 2 extra wins, which is very, very good. I'm happy with that. And we've also won the cup again. We knocked them out in the semis. We knocked out PSG in the semis and then beat Strasbourg in the final, which you'd have to say you'd expect us to win that. Morgenstern and Bertie with the goals. And a disallowed goal as well by Ruiz. Morgenstern getting himself injured as well. But that is a 2nd trophy of the cup, at the very least. A 3rd, 4th trophy of all competitions, which is very, very good. Looking at the goals as well. Mirasevic has got 10 goals. That's right, I did push him. So, I played Mirasevic as a defence midfielder for a bit because I thought he can kind of play there. And I retraded him to play there. And he's actually just broken into the first team to do that, which is really good. Getting 10 goals, 15 for Ruiz with 18 assists. Bertie with 23 and 17. Collard with 27 and 14. Morgenstern, all he does is score goals. 35 goals in all competitions, just 3 assists. But that's fine. 83 goals in 124 appearances. That is a goal every other game. In fact, that's better than a goal every other game. Looking at the assists as well. So Collard gets 14. Bordas gets 16. Bertie, we know, on 17. Ruiz on 18. Francia as a left-back on 21 assists. 17 of them in the league. He's had a good year. That was a wise decision by me to play him as a left-back. But we are not quite finished yet because the Club World Championships is a thing. And we're in it. I don't know how or why. We are in the Club World Championships. Does it say how we've qualified for it? So there's 3 teams from Saudi Arabia because money is a thing. Let's sort by nation. So we've got 2 Argentine sides, 2 Brazilian, 2 Ecuadorian sides, 2 Egyptians, 4 English teams, which is the traditional Big 4. I guess not technically because Man City are there. France have got 3, Reims, PSG and ourselves. Germany have got Bayern and Dortmund. Fiorentina and Juve, Yokohama. I mean, what is this competition? Does this actually exist? Is this a real thing? Does this actually exist? I don't know. But here we are. We've got this. We are playing ES Sahel from Tunisia. We are playing Boca. And we are playing Atletico Madrid. So I'm not convinced we're going to even get out of the groups. But we're going to jump forward to the end of this competition to see how well we've done in it as well. Well, we didn't win the thing. Arsenal are the champions. It was held in France. Apparently it was hosted in France. We also did not get to the semi-finals, which was basically the FA Cup plus Fiorentina. Quarterfinals is where we get knocked out by Manchester City. PSG get knocked out by Chelsea as well. I don't know whether this counts towards coefficient points. I have no idea whether this counts towards coefficient points either. It doesn't matter, obviously, for this save. But if we're doing a building a nation, we can get into this, then it certainly would matter. Reims actually managed to get through as well, losing to Arsenal in the second round. So who was just there for the fun of it? ES Tunis just got battered by everybody. Emelec of Ecuador. ES Sahel just got battered by everybody. Yokohama got battered by everybody. Leon got battered by everybody. IDV picked up a win, but I guess, yeah, it was against Leon, which is fair enough. You'd expect that. Al Ali, I mean, I feel bad for the African sides mostly just getting absolutely dominated, and the fancy cool South American sides are getting battered. Wellington Olympic, just a minus 18 goal difference there. Al Hilal minus 11 goal difference. It's kind of a pointless competition, isn't it? Let's be honest. But we didn't win it anyway. Doesn't matter. We did manage to beat ES Sahel 10-0. I mean, 10-0. It's so many goals it doesn't even appear on the list. So who scored? Francia Mirasevic gets 2. Bertie Morgenstern gets a hat-trick. Carvalho, Flores, and an own goal as well to top things off. So there you go. That's a competition that exists. And that brings us to an end of our time in charge of Toulouse. And if we look, let's just go history here. Past winners, we are there. In fact, in the last 6 seasons, we have been in the top 3. In the last 6 seasons, winning it twice as well, which, by the way, I'd like to point out, we have won Toulouse's first ever Ligue 1 title and second ever Ligue 1 title, and only their second and third ever French Cup titles as well. We've been very instrumental into actually making Toulouse become a very good team, haven't we? We've been very instrumental in that. This climb, we started, here? That was our first season. That is quite a nice climb. I'm happy with that. We've done well with Toulouse. We have, and by we, I mean me, I have plans for another simulation save similar to this one, where we're going to be heading over to Germany, and we're going to take over a team who have just been relegated from the Bundesliga after 5 seasons. We're going to holiday forward 5 seasons, and then pick a team who've just been relegated from the Bundesliga, try and restore them to a decent level of football in the top division of Germany. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, do please remember to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll be back next time.